building communities in this industry is a huge thing. I've had a shop now 23 years. I've been doing card shows since I was 16, 1986, so not to date myself, but yeah, it's been a while. So basically, what we're going to continue talking about is just how we build our stores in each one. We're all now expanding, we're all getting bigger, but one of the biggest things that we talk about right now is security. I really want to talk about, we've had now two major break-ins in the last year and a half. Aaron, you've been broken into. Mark, you have the funniest story about breaking it. And Steve, you've been
3 times in 2 years.
Yeah. You guys got to be aware of it. It's coming. And I hate to say this. I hate to be negative at all, but there's nothing. Honestly, you can protect yourself as much as you can. They're coming. I really thought our Burbank store was really well protected, and they were in 4 minutes, and they took about $350,000 in 4 minutes. Place rated set. So make sure your gates are up. Make sure that, easiest way I can tell you, think about as a thief. Where do you want to put your stuff in the beginning of the store or your back? Aaron, Mark, you've got the best story about how they broke into it. Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so we had we're in South Florida, so that's Hurricane Alley, right? So everything that we have has hurricane impact windows. So in addition to the impact windows, we also put a 3M protective film with Kevlar on the inside. So we had two geniuses who tried to hit us at 2 in the morning. They hit us with a sledgehammer 32 times, and they couldn't get in, okay? They finally gave up and ran away, and we're literally 3/10 of a mile from the police station in a very good area. We learned a lot from it. We improved our security. We ended up expanding and putting in fog machines, like you see at the football games where, you know, they come out of the tunnel and then in 7 seconds all that fog is everywhere. So now if somebody were to break in and they were to somehow get through the security and the film, now they can't see what they're doing. So within 7 seconds, you're running back out because you don't know if there's chemicals coming at your eyes or what it is, but either way, you can't see and you're running for the exits. So I'm a big advocate of it. We are building a new store. There is a gentleman with a company that provides these out of California. If any of you guys want the contact information and we can help another LCS from the headaches that this causes, I'm happy to share that info with you.
Steve, you 3 times.
Yeah. So we first moved in, and you know, the shop got like 36 feet of windows just straight across, and I was thinking it was a good thing at one time. And eventually, we don't have windows anymore. We just barricaded everything now to stop them. I had somebody that took it was like a weight or something like that, and they literally did like a Pete Rose into the window and broke in that way. I mean, it was kind of cool on video, but but yeah, I mean, eventually we're at the point now where we have a central security room. We just pull all the product into the central security room in the evenings, just take an hour, and our wall of wax is no longer a wall of wax at that point. So if they break in, you know, they're getting, you know, some cheap stuff, but nothing special. These guys are just relentless, though. I mean, like Mitch said, when he got broken into, the cops there in 7 minutes. Generally, they're in and out of your shop within 3 to 4 minutes before the cops get there, and they know it. They know how long it takes the alarm company to get called and everything else. And, you know, all you can do is just kind of minimize your losses, and that's where we're at right now. We just, again, everything's barricaded up. There's really only one way you're getting into my store, and I'm not going to share it. But yeah, I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, it's going to come. We're targets, and you just got to look at it that way.
And the more and more we get publicized by fanatics and tops, which is not a bad thing at all. It's coming. People, we're on media all the time. It's coming. So please make sure you guys, better security, better gates, more locks, alarm cameras everywhere. It breaks my heart every day that I know how hard we all work every single day of the year. I mean, we all work. I work 365. I don't take days off. This is my day off. But please protect it. It breaks my heart every day to see another store get broken into by some, excuse my language, I really apologize, some piece of shit. Guys, just work at it. And again, all four of us, if you've been broken into, you know what I'm talking about. The hollow feeling, it's the worst. So reach out to any of us. Be more than happy to help. Mark's got a great guy that can help out. Back to Aaron. Aaron, do you want to? How about you go?
We had already installed custom bars on ours, so we were kind of fortunate in that respect. They broke the glass on the front door. They couldn't get in. Then they decided to break another glass on our next window. They couldn't get in because of the bar system, and they ended up stealing what they could reach their hands on, which is about $300 to $400 of gaming sleeves. And you're like, okay, that's great. They didn't know what they're stealing, probably, whatever. But it's just the hassle of having to go back through and get everything set back up. You know, the glass. It's just such a bad feeling of, you know, yes, we prevented them from getting in, but you still have to deal with everything aftermath. And so, but that's the thing, is like, we were really fortunate that they couldn't get in any further, and we're glad that we did the systems in place to stop them and prevent them from that. So you have to be really careful, and you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. And you know, you'll end up saving yourself money in the long run, even if you do have to pay for the new glasses and things like that. So yeah.
Let's see, what next time? Community. How do you guys individually build communities in your stores better? Bring more people in, advertising wise. I know Aaron does more gaming tournaments than anybody with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We have with gaming, and that's the other thing for those that are maybe not doing any gaming, whether it's Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, about to become Lorcana. All these features are additional revenue systems for your store, and you know, things like that. Don't overlook those. I mean, they can be good sources. We ourselves have set up a Pokemon Day where we just do it like once a month. It grew. I mean, started about a year and a half ago, and I think we had like 8 people attend the first one. Now I have probably about 60 kids filtered through the day during our Pokemon Day. It's a good trade day, and you see the benefits not only in the sales that day, but you also see it later on, because when they think of, oh, where do I get my Pokemon? Where do I get whatever game I play? They think of us and they come back. And we're a lot easier to go to than Target and have to deal with that madness, or Walmart or something like that. So TCGs have been a really good benefit for our store.
So one of the things that really helps us build a community, especially as one of the newer stores, newest guy on the panel, is really providing an entire ecosystem for the customer. So we're not breakers, right? We focus on making sure that the customer has a great experience when they come into the store. We frequently tell our customers, we don't care if you buy anything from us or not. The only thing that we care about is that you have a smile on your face when you come in and a smile on your face when you leave. We have people that sometimes drive 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get to us from as far south as Key West, and we've had Orlando many times. But being in South Florida, it's really unique because you have the ability to draw on everything that's happening. People coming to Fort Lauderdale Airport and Miami Airport, and who doesn't want to go to South Florida, right? So we're like 6 minutes from the Hard Rock Hotel, and we're 10 minutes from Dolphin Stadium. So as far as customer service goes, we want to make sure that when somebody comes in, they've never been there before, we give them what we call the Royal Tour. And the Royal Tour means we're going to walk them around, we're going to show them all the Show Your Slabs with all the technology that we've developed for it. We're going to show them all the wax, we're going to show them what's where in the store. It's kind of like letting a kid go on Main Street in Disney World. You can't just let them go and say, go. You have to say, hey, Tomorrowland's over there, Future World's over there, It's a Small World's over there. You got to kind of give them a little overview. And when you take the time to do that, and you spend a couple minutes with them, show them the lay of the land, then you back off and say, hey, I'm here to help. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Ultimately, adding grading was a big deal for us. As a PSA and an SGC submission center, we're able to provide a one-stop shop for everything for our customers, really one throat to choke, right? So whether the customer comes in and they want to buy wax, or they want to buy slabs, or if they want to sell or consign through our eBay programs, it's really anything that they want to do, we have a little piece of it. So we're like the Apple store of baseball cards with a lot of technology.
Steve?
I'd like to follow that up.
A little bit.
Okay. So I was in Miami last week.
Yeah, thanks.
And I was. As soon as I get to Miami last week, I look at my Facebook, and world's greatest card shop. Bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, okay. Texting, we have a group text with Aaron and Mitch and myself. So I'm texting him. I'm like, Mitch, apparently you're not the world's greatest card shop. It's telling me who it is right here. It's his shop. Every time I get on Facebook, it's telling me who the world's greatest card shop is. So I just thought that was a funny story because I didn't even realize that that's who it was. So. But anyways, okay, so he's got the destination zone down in Miami and whatnot. I'm in Portland. We're not quite there. After the last few years, probably a little bit less. But I've got 3 shops within 3 miles of me, so I've got a little bit of competition. We just provide a good customer experience, and that's really cliche, but I've got a good crew that works for me. We engage the customers, we talk with them. We've got a lot of kids that come in for the Pokemon. I've got just the staff that embraces the kids. We want the customers to feel valued. And again, whether they buy something or not, it's just about the experience. I mean, I look at my shop. I have a hefty supply business. The shop's fun. We just try to do fun, and we're not chasing pennies or dollars or whatever like that. We just, I kind of want to just present it to the community. I mean, we're in a bedroom community outside of Portland. I want people to look forward to going to our place, and if we score from there, then it's a bonus, and that's legitimately how I look at it. We've got a really good selection of wax. Fortunately, we've been around for a while, so we've got some good allocations. And we just want the customers to come in and just not feel like they're lost. We're there to provide help for them, or if they want to just kind of chill and open some product up, we'll let them do that. And we're kind of simple. There's not much going on, but at the same time, we provide a getaway for a couple hours too. That's our shop.
Let me add. I want to add something to this. Steve does a lot of supplies. So about 4 years ago, when COVID first hit, 3 years ago, supplies were kind of a premium. You couldn't find them. Top loaders, whatever it was, sleeves, any of that kind of stuff. Because of our relationship, that we worked together, we help each other out. I never ran out of top loaders. I never ran out of sleeves. I had, I was the shop to come to because of the working relationship that we already all had. And so, he provided us all of our supplies, and, while everybody was looking around, trying to scrounge around from it, I was just like, yeah, I got plenty. And, that works because you can work together. You don't have to compete against each other. That was the nice thing. If I ever needed something, I felt comfortable asking these guys. Like, hey, do you happen to have this? Because
Building community, guys.
Yeah,
Building a community with friends who have shops is so important in this industry. Friends, I mean, I see a bunch of guys that I've known for years in here. It's great.
Well, you can tell the story about the pool cabana and.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Sounds
when
kinky, but it wasn't like
this
that.
is a real quick story. When COVID hit, we didn't have anywhere to go. We couldn't do conferences, no industry summit, no nothing. So Aaron, Steve, and I are just literally sitting there one day. I called him, we're texting back and forth. I'm like, dude, we should go to Morongo, which is a casino halfway to Vegas and halfway to LA. And I'm like, we should just go. Let's get away for a couple days. So literally, I picked up Steve. Steve came in, picked him up at the airport, came in and picked Aaron. We went to Morongo for a week, for a couple days. And we're sitting at 8 in the morning in a cabana. It's 85 degrees in the desert. We're in a cabana, and literally the 3 of us are on each other's phones, passing around to 3 different distributors that we deal with to buy more product. At 8 o'clock in the morning, working. The 3 of us are literally going, okay, hang on. And we're like, got done. We looked at each other and we goes, all right, phone's away. Now we sat the rest of the day just talking about what we needed to do to get better. And that's, again, for me, I say this all the time to everybody. Just be better. Just try to a little harder. It's not from A to Z, it's A to B, to C. Just keep getting better. If you have a problem, pick up the phone and call me. Call Steve.
Well, and taking that one step further, I mean, that meeting there was before Pokemon just got ridiculous. Aaron was the one that was telling us, he's like, you know what, I think something's gonna take off here. We should get some Pokemon. When we were talking to the distributors, we were literally buying the distributors out of Pokemon based on what Aaron was telling us. Needless to say, that was pretty much a good decision the last few years too. I mean, and I have ridiculous allocations now because we bought all that ahead of time. But again, I never would have done it if Aaron didn't speak up.
Mm-hmm. So I will make a little announcement today. we have decided, we have just signed a lease to move a bigger store. Our LA store is now, we're gonna go a little crazy. There'll be announcements a little bit more. We've just acquired a 10,000 square foot store with a basketball court in it. So we are going to back doing something that we love to do. It is all Ty and our manager Husto. We go back there and fun. We did trade nights 5 years ago. We were one of the first stores to really do trade nights and have 100 people in the store buying, selling, and trading, and getting back to, again, community, having fun. We're gonna do card shows, we're gonna do trade nights, we're gonna have basketball events, we're gonna do Angel City soccer is gonna come in, and if you can, we'll put up a goal net, and if you beat the goalie 3 times, you're gonna win a free box of cards. We're gonna get athletes to come out. We are going to do some other crazy events. You don't know who Coyote Peterson is? Brave Wilderness, check YouTube. It's the funniest thing in the world. The guy loves to get bit by animals. It's literally the funniest thing in the world. He's like, I wonder what a snapdragon turtle will do on my forearm. That's the guy I want to come in the store. He came in on one day at the store, and you're like, I know you. And we end up sitting in there, we talk about once every couple days. So those are the things that customer retention to just building. We're still not anywhere close to being done yet, guys. The whole industry. We need more. So if you guys have, and again, we're all available. I'm at the booth all day. Steve's got a booth right across the street. Come see us. Come ask questions. I'm not moving. I'm gonna sit there all day. So with that, let's open for questions. Sorting is for us. We basically have 2 or 3 out on our counters, $2 or $3 bins, $5, $10 bins. They're different marked. For us, we have our expensive cards in our cases, and then we do more wax. So if you walk in, most everybody who's been in our store looks at our wall of wax that is 12 feet tall and 72 feet long. And that's what they're usually coming for. We're a destination for wax and cases. And then we do breaks at night. But that's what they look for us. So we don't.
I just don't know where to find it. I mean, you have some cards, some stores that have millions and millions of cards. I have no idea why somebody would want to buy millions and millions of cards, but whatever. As far as we're concerned, we only. Can you please get up off the floor over there? We focus on everything graded, right? So everything graded, fortunately, you have a unique serial number. We refer to it as a VIN number in our store. And our POS is through PayPal, it's Zettel. So you can actually go in, and if I wanted to look up Jalen Hurts, I can type into the POS Jalen Hurts, or I could go over to the grid and get the serial number of that card, you know, based on the QR coding and the technology that we'll be talking about at 1 p.m. Selfish plug, and so it's really easy for us to identify it on the graded card side, because in the system you can either go by name or you can go by PSA, Beckett, or SGC cert number.
What was the name of that PayPal integration?
Zettel.
Zettel?
Yes. Jeff, it's called Zettel.
Yeah. So we sell some TCGs online, and we have about 1 million cards that we have categorized, but it took us years. It was a slow process. We were probably a good solid 5 years into it before we actually started realizing, okay, we finally got, you know, to the point where we can sustain it really well and so forth. But it was just constant, like, organizing, sorting, throw it online. That was for Magic. And we've had the shop for about 15 years, and now we're kind of at that point where it's like, it's a lot.
It's a card.
Like blackjack?
But yeah, it's not an easy task. It is definitely not an easy task, and you know, we have employees that's what they do. They just sort. I don't know how they can do it sometimes, because I would just go brain dead, but that's what they do. And then try to get everything online and so forth. But you can do that easily with TCG, Pokemon. That using their system is really good for the Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! At least. So yeah, that kind of gives you some insight onto the TCG world, though.
Steve?
Well, so we used to do that with the Beckett Marketplace, honestly. We had about 1 million cards at one time. A year and a half ago, I founded it. Pretty much we just, I mean, it was great for organization and stuff like that, but if your store wants to make money, it was chasing pennies. We're not about that. It was between all the labor of the sorting and the pulling the orders. You know, when I have one guy pulling, you know, an 80 card order and the value is $80 and it takes him 2.5 hours to pull it, it wasn't a good model for us. So, I mean, we're kind of, like what Mitch was saying, kind of on the wax. We've got the high-end singles. But we also we have a section of cards where, you know, if somebody wants to look for some treasures and look through some bulk, you know, we've got quarter bins, we've got boxes, categories by teams, that sort of thing, to kind of give the experience if people want to sit down and spend a few hours. But yeah, for us, the Beckett system was just, it was too much. I mean, I was paying too much for employees and minimum wage going up and whatnot. I'm sure you guys can understand, so. Yeah.
Shoot, we're all submitters for PSA and Beckett and SGC. Grading works, it helps. It brought back I'm gonna go back in 15 years ago. It brought back people selling cards on eBay. If you go back 15 years, eBay was really tough to sell ungraded cards because you could send a card over to New York, you send it right back. Now grading, card's an 8, it's an 8. No matter what you do, it's in a case, it's an 8. So that brought back so many more sellers to more, it hit so many more people at that point. So grading's an essential tool of this industry. I hope one of these days we get like a standard. I mean, PSA is still, you can send them the card 7 times and might get 7 different grades. But that's one of the things that I would love to see is a little bit more standardized. And we have a bunch of other different grading card companies that, when PSA got backed up, that just literally were, what's that word? Trash? Sorry, no filter. There you go. Opportunities, better word.
Wow.
Nice.
That's why you have the greatest card shop on the country.
Yeah. And we'll tell you.
You guys want to take a crack at that?
What?
With his question.
I mean, for me, we try to stay both sides. Grading is great for those individuals that are looking for a solid card, a specific, I want to get an 8, I want to get a 9, I want to get a 10. But we have realized, at least for our customer base, that raw is also necessary. So it's almost like you're kind of splitting it right down the middle and have both. We do get a lot of customers that want raw cards just because they feel like they want to buy the card, but they don't necessarily want to pay maybe something extra for the grading. But I think our solution at least was to have both, to try to have both. But yeah, the raw cards are definitely a necessary one to stock as well for us.
So I think that you have to figure out what's important to you, and you have to stay in your swim lane on this. One of the things that we decided, because our store wasn't very big, we had to innovate and we had to go up the wall, you know, in showing all the slabs that we have, is we decided we're not dealing with raw cards, okay? And when people come to us with their bucket of crap from the 90s, you know, the ones that are worth nothing, and you have to share the article with them that says why your card collection from the 90s is probably worthless, then
those are such tough conversations.
Then what you've got to do is you've really got to identify the one shop in town that, you know, the guy's really not that nice, and you kind of send them all to him, right? So we've identified that person, and we have sent plenty of people his way. But you have to identify what's right for you. We stick to the graded cards. We don't touch memorabilia. We don't touch ungraded cards. And I think regardless of who you talk to, and any store owners in here, you're gonna find that that slabs is gonna be the smallest part of your business. It's great, it's cool looking, but in the end, you're gonna do 70-75% wax, you're gonna do 15% grading, and you're gonna do 10% supplies and slabs. And the real money's gonna be made on the wax, which is critical to make all your money on the buy.
How much you make on supplies?
What's that?
How much you make?
Percentages, I will argue that all day long.
I need a better supplier.
Percentage-wise, supplies.
No, did I say? I meant product mix. I apologize. The product mix of what sells in the store, not the profit margin. Did I say profit margin?
Yeah, you did. It's okay. Nobody was listening.
You lost me a break in.
Just keep your eyes open. Hopefully have some other good employees that are gonna have your back. And that's ultimately what happened is, you know, I find out through other employees, hey, you might want to look into this. And the camera system obviously is great because I can go back and double check some of the stuff, but you know, you're never going to be bulletproof. There's always going to be something going on, and you just got to, you know, eBay in the past always told me after they jammed us with fees that it's a cost of doing business, and I always hated that answer, but, you know, employee theft, cost of doing business, it's gonna happen. I mean, you just kinda have to just take it sometimes.
Anybody else? Question? Yes.
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on like rewards programs and systems to incentivize recurring business? Or do you guys employ any of those, or is that something you guys ever thought about?
We don't have a formal reward system necessarily, but we are very diligent knowing who our good customers are, and we take care of them appropriately. It's very informal, but again, these people know they come to my shop, they're gonna get a little more than just the average Joe that just shows up for the first time. I mean, I think in our regards, you know, we're still kind of a little bit of an old school shop, and you know, people expect it. You got to give it to them.
I think we're all old school shops, right? Because anybody can go into Walmart and Target and buy cards right now. So
Prices, trying to monitor it, and again, I've been doing this forever. I'm pretty really good about trends. We have a spreadsheet that we share with a few people, our stores, that we break down, and it's updated every day. That every morning it's like, God, I have a feeling on this product. You know what? Nobody's got it. It's gonna be. You check the internet, you look up, and you go, "There's 35 buys, but there's no sells. Something's coming." Panini says they just sold out of something. Topps just sold. They sold out of something. Something's going on. Let's go raise up price $5. For instance, 5-star baseball. As soon as I don't know if the Topps people already left, but when they announced the Kobe Bryant cut autograph, you better believe that buy went up $20. And I just kept buying. We've gone through probably 90 cases of 5-star this year. If the Kobe card didn't get told to us, and it didn't get announced until after the product was released, you had to be on your best behavior and your best thought process of getting that and knowing that stuff. So I just like working. So that's how for me. I just work.
Now, one quick thing I want to point out too on that, because you mentioned the Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna go
We didn't really know about the Disney quite as much, and since sometimes you don't have to work until all crazy times, you just have to have somebody who works all crazy times and then shares that knowledge with you. And so thanks to Mitch, I was able to pick up a couple cases
We all have
at
some
a decent
cases after I
price.
like her.
Yeah, but I was fortunate because it was our working group, and so we got brought in on it. You know, we missed probably the early stages, but we at least got brought in on it, and we're ahead of the game there. So they can't put enough value on our friendship that we have between our collective and, you know, shops that you don't have to be friends with us, but you probably have other shops you can be friends with, or other individuals around in your area that you can be friends with, and that just adds so much value to your shop for your growth and things that you can rely on and get stuff that maybe you can't do or you don't have enough time to do sometimes, because everybody's going to do something better than you. Somebody's always going to do something different than you. There's no shame in, you know, using somebody's idea or something like that. It's you know.
Yeah. You guys can also be friends with all of us. So,
Yeah.
that's for the record.
Yeah, if you
He's
give me your
Eric